overtime today. It is Saturday. And I'm gonna go give Tarzan a bath. Oh, come see my man. What's it doing? Alright, now that we've got him, we're gonna go give him a bath and shave him for the summer. Huh, buddy? I know, come on, he feels so hot. So what I like to do with Tarzan is I spray him and try to get as much of the dirt that I can out of his thick coat. Then we're gonna go through and shave him with the clippers, and then I go through and give him another little spray down just to get all that hair off. So let's get going. We have to take the befores. Said I've been trying to get some of this over here on his butt so that he gets a little bit of the cooler air getting to him. It looks like he shed it off over here some, because I don't remember cutting that much off of him unless somebody else has. So I know a real popular question about this would be, why is he this way in April? Because horses shouldn't really look like this. Here's the thing. He is about 28, 29 years old, and he has Cushing's disease. So I feel like this isn't really talked about for the most part. So he actually gets shaved twice a year because his coat grows like this in the summertime. So he gets shaved once in about March or April, and another time in about July, August, roughly, because we do have warmer weather because of the humidity and everything down here in Louisiana. So he will get shaved in about July or August because we have weather up in like 70, 80 degrees in October, sometimes even December. So that's why I can shave him again in the later months of summer, so that way he's not going through summer heat and humidity with this. I'm very much excited because that's falling off with me just rinsing them. One of us is going to be a little bit darker by the end of all this, and I'll give you a hint, it's not going to be me. Alright guys, first bath is done. Still looking a little rough, but we're looking better. He's got patches that came out great, so that's a plus, because with Cushing's, like, a lot of it doesn't really shed off. So the rest of it's pretty matted. That will end up being shaved off. He got a little bit tender whenever I was starting to finger comb through some of it. So I'm gonna put him in a stall, and I'm probably gonna give him about a half of what I would usually feed him in the mornings and evenings, and let him just chill in his stall. I'm gonna probably go inside for about 30 minutes to an hour to go ahead and get the clippers ready and to just kind of chill while he dries. So it's pretty windy, so I may just go in there for 30 minutes and then come back out here and tie him out here in the aisle of the barn, and for him to air dry with the wind, with how windy it is. Okay, so some of y'all may be having some questions of like how he looks and everything. Number one, he is an older horse. Horses typically live to be 25 to 30 years old, so he is right in that age range right there at about 28, 29. So he's actually really old for his age. Number two, Cushing's disease is something that happens in horses that is really affected in their pituitary gland. That is, I'm pretty sure it's like in the back of the brain, if I'm not mistaken. So, and that causes them to have like a pot belly kind of look, irregular shedding during the seasons. So whenever it comes into warmer seasons like this, he doesn't shed off his winter coat. So that is one of the main reasons why he doesn't get a blanket, is because he can grow like a 3-4 inch coat in the winter time, so he doesn't really need it. And I don't worry about blanketing him to prevent it, because like I had said earlier, he grows this hair in the summer too. So that also kind of goes into the irregular shedding as well, is that he'll continue to grow his winter coat in the summer months. There is medication for this. We have tried it. Unfortunately, the side effects of the medication can be loss of appetite. And that's what happens with him. With him being an older horse, we can't really afford him to lose an appetite. He doesn't get the medication because after him being on it for about 2 or 3 days, if I cut it off, it takes him about 2 or 3 days to gain his appetite back. So he doesn't eat as much on it. And so that kind of leads to weight loss and other things. other complications, so we tried to prevent that. I don't really know how else to explain it. Like, he has been living like this, I want to say, for probably almost 10 years. I want to say this kind of really came into an effect whenever he had a really bad colic scare. I want to say that was in 2016, 2017 maybe. So we are coming up on 10 years of that. And just the stress of the colic and all this other stuff, I feel like that's what really triggered the pressure, tumor, whatever it is that's dealing with the pituitary gland on him. So that's whenever his Cushing's first came to light. So that's kind of a little bit of a background. This has kind of just been our regular routine for 8 years of his life, is going through and shaving him in the springtime. I just had to bump him up to twice a year. I want to say it was about 3 or 4 years ago. This very well could be our last year with him. I don't know. It's kind of something that I've just compartmentalized in my brain, like one of these days it's gonna happen, and we don't know when. We're trying to keep him as comfortable as we can up until that point. I don't know if you can see the horses over here in the background. They're kind of starting to make their way up. So, yeah, right there. So they were up in the front field. Tarzan was out here. When he gets overheated and it starts getting into like the really hotter months, he likes to stay up here, kind of by the pond area. So that way he can go down there whenever he wants to. And he likes to hang out around this big tree right here because there's a lot of shade. And sometimes he'll go down in the pond where he can stay cooler and just kind of have his feet in the water and whatnot. We're going to let him eat for a few minutes, and then I'm going to come back out here, and then we'll put him in the aisle in the barn so that the wind can blow dry him, basically, and we'll get started on clipping him. Another thing, you do not want to put a wet horse out in the sunlight because, yes, even though a wet horse is like, it'll cool them down, and you put them straight in the sun and you think that they're going to dry, it actually is something with the water and the sun that it makes them burn up, kind of deal. So with him already having a thicker coat, plus the water, plus the heat of the sun beaming down on him from that, I'm asking for like a heat stroke, basically. So that is another little tip to kind of keep in mind coming into these summer months. If you ride your horse or whatever, if you're competing, just trail riding, just want to give your horses a bath in the summertime to cool them off, because I know that I do. Do not put them straight out into the sunlight. You want to be able to have them in a shaded area for, I would say, probably about 30 minutes to an hour, or until dry completely, whichever comes first. Also, sorry if I sound like complete garbage, because I am getting over, like, I had to battle like another sinus infection this spring. It's not great, so there's all kinds of stuff going on right there. I am gonna go through. This is the kind of clippers that I use. It's 2-speed. I have no idea where these came from or how old they are, but we have used these every time that we have shaved him. I thought I had cleaned these out after I had used them last year, and I wonder if I did that after the spring one and not the summer. Because I had went through and pulled this whole blade off and cleaned out all the hair as best as I could from behind it. So I just go through and use like a little soft bristle brush to just get the extra little hairs out of it. And I'm using a 2.4 millimeter. Gonna go through and put some of this clipper lubricating oil. I like to turn it on the 1-speed. And let it kind of run there. Kind of get that greased up and everything ready to go. I also have this Cool Lube. If you follow Katie Van Slyke, I think is her name. I think she used that whenever she was clipping some of her ponies too. So I've used that for as long as I've been doing him. I find it works very well, especially when the clippers go for a very long time. It gets a little bit warm whenever you do it for a while. So while it's kind of cool right now, I want to kind of go over his face real quick just to work on a few things. I'm going to pull this braid back up in here. He won a second place buckle whenever I was riding in the youth groups. I had trained him myself and ran barrels on him the same time that I was running sass. And I believe it was in 2007 was whenever he had won a buckle in the 4D. He was a little fast little pony. That's a little story about Tarzan. You know when a guy shaves his beard and he says he looks baby faced, this is the same thing with Tarzan. He looks like an old man with his beard, and then when you shave it off, it's like he's 10 again. I won't do it right now, but I still like to clip him like the performance horses that I have, even though that he's not a little barrel pony anymore. They do an annual trail ride and go into Louisville for the fair and everything. I want to say it was probably 2012, somewhere around there. I can't remember which year it was that I rode him in it. I rode him in it bareback. I got offered $1,200 for him at the end of that trail ride. And my dad said that's where two fools met, one for offering and one for not taking it. It's just a little story time. He's truly a little incredible little wonder pony. And I'm very glad that I kept him after all these years. This is basically what me and Tarzan do every spring and at the end of every summer. We've been doing this for the past 5 years now, I want to say, where I just go through and clip him from the Cushing's disease, where he grows all of his coat out and everything, and it does not shed, so I have to shave him. It's not that big of a deal, I don't feel like, because it's something that just I feel needs to be done. I want him comfortable. Like I have stated before in this video, I'm sure he is about 28 to 30, I want to say. He is my senior horse. He is the oldest horse that we have here on the property. He is not the oldest horse that we have ever owned. I would say that he looks good for his age. I wouldn't say great for his age, because my first barrel horse, she lived to be about 36. So I seen what she looked like at 27, which she was on the slimmer side. She was an appendix bred quarter horse, which is thoroughbred and quarter horse mix. He is a Welsh pony. All right, so as you can see, he is still pretty wet, so I'm not going to put the clippers on him because that's really going to tangle up in the clippers. So we're going to go through with some scissors until he finally air dries, and we'll then smooth him out with the clippers later in the spots that I do get him with these. So I'm sitting on a bucket with a bag in it right now. So if you see me grabbing his hair and putting it down there, I have a bucket. So that's what we've got going on with it. He was diagnosed probably in 2017 whenever he had colic. We basically got his Cushing's disease diagnosis after he colicked. So I am not a professional on the sense. I've just been doing this for a good bit of years. And so this is just stuff that I've learned. Oh, I hear some horses. Everybody decided to run up right now. I'm trying to get clipping ASMR. Sorry. This is what I meant by the matting situation. Like, it's just clumps everywhere. Would you like to say something, T-Bone? Would you like to say something? I'm going to go ahead and finish up this little section right here that I've started on, and I will touch back base with y'all later. Alright guys, so as you can see here on his shoulder, we have a really rough cut. And I didn't want to get too terribly close to the skin. Like, I got a couple spots here and down here, but I'm trying to cut the hair at an angle where it's all kind of fluffed up, like this piece right here, and just where the air can get to it and dry him off quicker so that we can go over him with the clippers. So that is why that says that. But going through and just trimming him with the scissors really dries all this out so that I'm able to go over it and actually dry cut it later with the clippers. So, what, says they? So now we're gonna work on this. What is you doing? Are you jealous because you're not getting any time? Huh? So people watch me on the YouTube. Oh, people like to watch me on the YouTubes. T-Bone's getting his hair cut. I think because I record her so much that she thinks that she earns screen time. And I think she kind of understands a little bit of the gist of it because I do let them know, like, people watch the YouTube channel. So my horses are pretty funny. Everybody that encounters them says that they have a lot of personality. That was probably one of the biggest compliments. Stop it. You're being moody. You're being a grumpy old man. You are. You got that look on your face like you are. But that is probably one of the biggest compliments that I've ever gotten, like from my vet, from my farrier, that every time that they see my horses, they say that they have like the biggest personalities that they've ever seen in horses. I kind of pride myself on that because they are their own individuals. They have their own minds. They have their own personalities. I'm gonna try to finish doing this side before it gets too late. Says that you're not coming in. This is what we're working with. He is a very golden palomino, if you can't tell. Just to kind of cover a few things. It looks like winter did him well. And what I mean by that is I expected a lot more ribs to be showing. And I don't mean that like him in a starving kind of way, but like I had mentioned earlier with his older age, he doesn't keep weight on very well. He looks pretty good for 28, 29 years old. This little, I don't know if it's picking up on the camera, but there's like a little sore there on his hip. I think there might be one over here that ends up showing. That is from whenever he colicked really bad. He was in pretty rough shape for about 3 months there. So he had ulcers on both hips. We had to drain that at the vet. That was not fun at all. So yeah, this is how he looks after just a very rough clip. So I'm gonna finish up here. I have some of it started up here, so we're about to go through and finish that. This is all pretty much like one whole mat on the back here. So I'm going to go through and do that. And then probably going to go ahead and just shave this whole side, and then we'll start on the other side. Later on, whenever I show y'all the finished product, you're going to see like all this extra hair up here is going to be gone. Like he does have a couple of little mane growths underneath, and I trim all that to where there's not all this up here just straggles and everything, so that his mane looks very neat. I like to go through and make him look like a show pony, even though that he's not anymore. So I'll end up cutting a lot of this really, really close to that mane line. And I want to be him as short as I can get him without it being an issue, meaning like so that he doesn't get too sunburn or anything during the summer months. And he really doesn't get sunburn a whole lot because like how I said earlier, he likes to hang out underneath one of the big oak trees down there by the pond or in the pond. So there's a lot of shade that he hangs out in, and he doesn't really like to stay in the sun a whole lot. I'm going to go ahead and work on this side right here, and I will show y'all what he looks like after he's been shaved. So I've got Tarzan hair all all over me. And we did not get him completely done today. We got half of him done today. But we are going to have to finish the other half tomorrow in the morning, or tomorrow at some point, because my back was starting to hurt. Anyway, like I was saying before, a gnat just flew in my eye. My back was starting to hurt. Tarzan was starting to get irritated. He was definitely over it by the first hour, and we were probably out there for 3 or 4 hours. So yeah, he was a trooper for the most part, but you could tell that he was very much over it after like the first 5-10 minutes. I'm gonna go jump in the shower real quick because I have all kinds of little tiny Tarzan hair all over me, and it's really poking me. And if you know anything about getting stuff stuck in your bra, if you're a guy, I'm very sorry. But for us girls, if we have hay or horse hair or stuff like that, who can agree with me? But past that point, I'm gonna go take a shower real quick, change. I don't mean like full on shower. I'm probably just gonna go rinse off and get all this hair off of me, number one. But I'm gonna probably go out and clean stalls tonight. That way I don't have to worry about that tomorrow. That way tomorrow we could just focus on the house. So yeah, I will tune back in with this tomorrow whenever we go back and we'll start working on Tarzan again. All right, guys, so today is June 5th, I believe. I need to finish clipping Tarzan. So what I'm gonna do is go over his belly, basically, to go with some scissors, and then I'm gonna bring the clippers in here later to finish off shaving him so that he is good to go for this summer. And hopefully we can get him fully clipped by tonight, because I am gonna have a very busy next 3 days with work. So I would love to go ahead and work on the girls' manes as well, but that's probably not gonna even happen tonight. All right, so this is what we've got going on with Tarzan so far. I went through and clipped a lot of the matted spots, so I'm gonna give him a quick brush over with a mane and tail brush to get his hair fluffed back up, and then we're gonna go ahead and go over all this stuff with the clippers and get him where he is shaved nice and neat, huh, buddy? All right, so we have the belly hair off. He got him a haircut with his mane. Everything looks good over here. Legs are shaved. I don't know why we have to act like we have a new horse whenever he gets a haircut. Everybody's all kind of checking him out now. Guys, he doesn't want the attention. All right, guys, so I just finished clipping Tarzan. I have hair all over me. I am sweating. I don't know why I thought I was gonna clean stalls afterwards, because now I'm starting to itch and it's not gonna happen tonight. So I'm about to go jump into the shower so that I can get clean and get the hair off of me and everything. We got the cats just out here chilling. Lily's giving herself a bath. Jack is dead. Jack kitty. Oh, big stretch, big stretch. They are going to be chilling out in the field for the rest of the night. They are not sleeping in the stalls tonight. They slept in the stalls last night because I thought it was going to be raining and everything, so I wanted to give them a dry place to sleep. I hope that you guys enjoyed this spring/summer routine. The vlog after this will be one that I just filmed of like my day in the life of going to town to go get stuff for the horses, getting stuff around the house. So that should be next week's vlog. And I really hope that you guys are enjoying these new videos. I know that I have been MIA for like the past month, and I'm incredibly sorry about that. And so, but between work, working on the house, between the horses, I just needed a mental health break. I hope that you guys enjoyed this vlog, and I will be seeing y'all next time. Bye, guys.